What's happening, tabletop gamers? My name is LeunameGames. Welcome back to LeunameGames Unboxes. Today, we're going to be taking a look at Awesome Kingdom by Kevin Wilson and published by IDW Games and Pandasaurus Games. Let's go ahead and have a look at the back here and see what this is about. Get ready to get awesome. In Awesome Kingdom by Kevin Wilson, you'll take charge of one of the Awesome Ocho, a band of heroes on a dungeon crawl, searching for untold riches. This tongue-in-cheek dungeon crawler delivers 3 rounds of highly strategic laughter in an over-the-top setting of awesome proportions. This awesome vessel contains 2 dungeons of prolific proportions, the Mines of Murray and the Cretin's Labyrinths. So a dungeon crawler featuring not 1, but 2 different dungeons to go through. Full transparency, I'm not that familiar with dungeon crawlers, but I'm willing to give it a try. So with all that said, let's have a look and see what does Awesome Kingdom have to offer us. The game comes with 8 different heroes that come with the game, and each of these has a special ability written on the bottom of their cards, and the abilities, I must say, are very easy to read, and the symbology is also very easy to see. On the back of these is their reference cards that gives you a brief summary of the various symbols that are in the game, and I must say the symbols on the back of these cards are very easy to see as well as the text. And of course, since we've got heroes, you need something to represent them, which is why the game also comes with 8 standees for each of the heroes, and they do stand up very well. You will have to slide them into the various holders. They do not come with them already slid in, but thankfully they slide in and out very easily, so you shouldn't have any problems there. We have a deck of cards here that has these little boots with wings on them. These are action cards that basically represent how you are going to move about the 2 dungeons that come with the game. Each of these has a symbol down here, which basically represents what you are going to do on that turn, whether it's to move around, whether it's to claim cards, or whether it's to discard cards, and basically whatever you need to do to try to move about the dungeon to get treasure. Once again, I must say, the text on these cards are very easy to see, and you shouldn't have any issues telling which ones are the action cards, because the action cards are the only ones that have this little symbol with the boots and the feet, or the wings rather, on the back of the cards. There are 2 different cards that represent the 2 different dungeons that you can enter, the Mines of Murray and the Cretin's Labyrinth. Each of these has on the back of them a little story that represents what's going on with these 2 dungeons, and on the front of these there is a little condition on the fronts that basically can change the rules of the game depending on which dungeon you decide to play through. They also have symbols in the top corners up here. This is to represent the fact that there are certain dungeon cards that are only used with these specific dungeons. And thankfully the symbols for the 2 different dungeons are very easy to tell apart, so you shouldn't have any issues there. Speaking of dungeon cards, there are a bunch of dungeon cards that come with the game, and they are actually divided into 4 separate categories. You've got encounters here, which I'm assuming are enemies that you're going to have to deal with. You've got treasures, you've got traps, and I'm assuming these are like little equipment pieces that you can pick up at some point. I'm not entirely certain. You'll see here that on all of these, some of them will have no symbol at all in the top right corner, but some of these have the symbols that I mentioned in the previous 2 dungeon cards. So the ones without it means that they can be used no matter what, but the ones with the various symbols means that they can only be used if you are playing with a specific dungeon. And just like with the hero cards, they also have a little text on the bottom here that basically represents something whenever you land there, or go past there, or you land next to it. Just like the hero cards, the text on these cards very, very easy to see. So you can read them pretty easily just from the view of the camera there. So you shouldn't have any issues with any of that. And to be able to help you identify what cards are the dungeon cards, they all have this door on the back of them. There is then a single card here that has this hourglass on it. This is basically the timer card, and it comes with a little token here that represents the dial, and this is basically meant to keep track of what day you're on, which is basically what round of the game you are in. The game comes with a very tiny first player token, one of the smallest first player tokens I've ever seen, but very good quality, very thick cardboard, so you shouldn't have any issues with bending it. There are 11 dungeon tokens that come with the game, and what these do is that basically when you go to set up the game, you'll have these set up in a circle, and you'll have these cards basically set up above them, and these dungeon tokens are meant to represent the different rooms in the dungeon. There are also a whole bunch of coins that come with the game. They come in denominations of 1 and 3, and the quality is very nice. You should not have any issues with bending them. They are very, very thick. Whether or not you'll be able to tell the numbers apart if you are colorblind, I'm not entirely certain. And I think you shouldn't have that much of an issue because there is a clear stroke outlining the two numbers, so I think you should be alright. There are a whole bunch of tokens that represent wounds. They also come in denominations of 1 and 3, and you can tell them apart because they have this little bandage on the back of them, and these are very easy to tell apart. The white goes very well with the red background. Same thing, the quality of these is very nice, very thick cardboard tokens. And then finally, for some reason, we have a token here that is the proof of awesome. Why is this important? I have no idea, because the rulebook doesn't even mention that this token is in the game. So that is everything you'll get if you obtain Awesome Kingdom. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a big thumbs up. If you want to learn how to play Awesome Kingdom, or if you want to know my thoughts on it, make sure you subscribe to the channel for more tutorials, reviews, and unboxings. Thank you all as always so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.